I'm Art Whitman, Chairman of the Shaftsbury Select Board. I'd like to call this meeting of Wednesday, June 30th to order at 6:30. The first order of business is I'd like to see if any of the members of the board have a conflict of interest with what's on the agenda.
No.
Okay. This is the final meeting of this fiscal year. I think we'll hear from the treasurer that it was a very successful year, and we owe a lot of credit to Dave, Melanie, and of course, and the board for doing our jobs and all that sort of stuff. So thank you, everybody, for a very, very good year. So we start fiscal year 22.
22, starting tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Minutes,
June 21st was circulated.
okay. Everybody get a chance to look at it, or do you want? Yeah. Okay.
Fine.
Entertain a motion to accept,
So moved.
second by Tony. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 4-0-0. Warrants,
Okay, so we have payroll warrant 26 for $22,027.88.
second by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 4-0-0.
The next warrant is Beamer's payment for $12,288.63.
Entertain a motion. Motion by Tony. Second by Rick, Ken. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 4-0-0.
The next warrant is check warrant number 39 for $58,570.86.
Motion by Tony. Second by Mike.
And the major items on here are payments to the county clerk. It's the annual fees for $11,548. The Bennington County Sheriff for $1,395. Fresh Coat Asphalt Services for $4,250. We crack sealed all of Airport Road.
And other streets.
Well, that's separate.
Okay.
We contracted out Airport Road. We're using the host town tax money
Okay.
that's been piling up.
So this is different than what Norm did.
This is different than what we did with Norm, because that was more an equipment and personnel share to cut costs. The usual collection of GA Bow fuels. Green Mountain Power bills, which are the same thing. $54.40 to partial payment on the rental of the mower that's going around doing the roadside mowing today. $42.04 for Innovative Surface Solutions, which is the calcium chloride for the roads. Sycamore Landscaping for $2,083, which is the monthly payment on the annual contract to maintain the cemeteries. $5,548, which is the annual fee to Vermont League of Cities and Towns. That's all the major ones.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Oh, thank you, Ken.
4-0-0.
How's that new, dust control working out? Right, we use it.
We have not, we're pairing with another town so they can make one delivery this way, so we haven't put it down yet. Mike's been talking with a lot of different people who have used both what we're using and this new stuff. So we're not really committed to it one way or the other. You hear varying things. You have to pick your own road and put it down, just see what happens. You know, there is an expense if we get into that because we would have to change the nozzle heads because this stuff is thicker. It's just little things like that. But you won't really know until you get some down and see what it does.
Okay. Announcements.
Thank you.
Announcements, road closures or anything?
The only thing that's going on is Shaftsbury Hollow Road by the Hideaway. Construction started. The temporary bridge will be in before long. The road will always remain open except for momentary pauses while they move equipment and things like that. And the construction is going to go on through September at minimum. There's nothing else really pending at the moment. There will be some projects coming up. There's the usual ditching and things like that going on all over town.
Public comments. Everybody's here. And
There's nobody on Zoom either.
nobody's on Zoom. Okay. There's no one.
Let me see. I think she wanted to say something, but like as I said, we couldn't finish the reports.
Right. Yeah.
So,
She said something about going over the budget.
do you want to say anything? Okay, moving right along.
The budget is fine, is that what she's saying?
Yes, the budget is fine. Move on.
Okay.
She's actually, what she's doing is inputting the 22 budget into our program because I'm spending money tomorrow. And it has to be under the right categories and everything,
You didn't
so.
leave soon enough.
No. I have 6 hours before I leave, so that's,
You're spending money already.
yeah, well, the clerk has been waiting. The clerk's chairs for where the people come in and do research are really kind of falling apart. And I said, you got to wait till the new budget.
Okay. Talk to us about some transfer stations.
Okay, just to bring everybody up to date on what's going on, the Casella contract, we pretty much have that all settled. It's really just the hall fees and some nuts and bolts that we'll work on when I get back. We're all working together fine. We're all in the same direction, so that'll work out. They're getting me the dimensions. They've ordered the new containers for us. They will not take as long as they thought. So we will be planning some construction on how to make that work. Joe's going to get me the dimensions tomorrow, and then we'll look into having them engineered because we're going to have people coming up and down these things. We could just build them, but we should really have them engineered and stamped so that there's no question that they fit all the guidelines,
Especially if we're going to build them.
Yeah, they have to be stamped just because they have to be ADA compliant and it's just a civil liability thing. Who designed this? We have a stamped plan.
Them new containers are gonna fit the existing areas.
Yep, they'll slide right in. Each area is 20 feet long. These will just be bigger, taller containers where you'll walk up and they will have the slide doors on them. And you just open them up, drop your stuff directly in. You can see these in Sunderland and almost every place has them. And it'll just make it a lot easier for people to dispose of this stuff. We're going to be stuck with what we have for a little bit, but we'll get by with that. Let's see. The other thing we're going to do is we will be advertising for a transfer station supervisor because with Casella moving out August 1st, we're going to need someone to manage the property, to oversee everything. And of course, as we've been saying, the most important part is the halls. We have to manage how often they remove stuff because that's our biggest new expense. So we'll have somebody doing that. We're going to incorporate managing the landfill because there's just different procedural things that go on, measuring the methane and things like that up there, where in looking at other organizations, when they have a supervisor there, they just kind of keep a handle on the whole place. So that'll be helpful for us. So that'll be going in the paper starting next week, and we'll start interviews when I come back. And it's 20 hours a week, and we'll decide on the pay depending on the applications we get. But it will be competitive. The other thing that is the operator's shelter and swap shed. Last year in March, we awarded a bid to Eddie Scholl Construction to build a new shelter for the attendant. COVID came, we put all that off. It seemed like we were going to be in very bad shape. So we put it off, but Ed still does have the basic award. What I just want to discuss with the board is, and now that we're taking it over and it's not just our single attendant, looking to expand that bid to make a bigger, more like an office, a 10 by 20, that'll allow people to drive up. The attendant will have a window, red cash register, which will make our auditors happy, and people will pay right there. So it won't be this little hut to get out of the cold. It'll be actually a place to operate from.
Will it be at a checkpoint? Will there be a point where
Yep.
you funnel people down to?
Yeah, you'll come straight in, the exit, because it's a circular traffic pattern, you'll come right in, you'll just stop right at the window. And I was down at Pownell, they do it this way. It's very efficient for keeping track of things. Because again, now that we're doing it and we're gonna get charged every penny for everything, we have to make sure we're getting paid for everything. And it probably will require a change from weighing bags to doing it the way other towns do it. A 13-gallon bag is this price, it goes up that way by the size of the bag. Because no matter what you do, you can't stuff too much weight in a 13-pound bag before it tears apart. So they do it, and they tell me they don't really have any problems. And I've seen some of the weighing techniques that go on, and I don't think we're actually getting the full weight of a lot of things anyway. But we'll have a whole list. There are registers and things they can just pick out, just like going to a grocery store, this PU for this and this and this. So at the end of the day and the end of the week, you can just print out and see exactly how much was put in there, and that'll help us reconcile with the Casella halls, as far as weight and what else they bring in. So I think that'll be worthwhile. But the basic thing is, I want the board's permission to open up with Ed Schul, who has received a contract last year for 2 structures that, now we only need 1 structure, but needs more windows, it needs a different height, it needs different doors, it'll need a little bit more electricity. But I think we should try and honor the bid that we awarded with these modifications. Because it isn't really new. We planned to do this. It's just everything's changed. Now that we're going to be running the place, we need a different facility than we originally planned.
With all the cost of lumber, though, how can you expect them to do it for the same price?
Oh, I don't. Not at all.
Oh, okay.
No, what I'm saying is I just want to open up to because in all our bids, we say we're allowed to negotiate and work on the specifications to who we awarded it to. Well, we awarded it to him, and we have different specifications. And like any construction, it's a year later. So if you're going to pick up the contract a year later, it's not going to be the same price. That's just.
How do we make sure that everybody uses the same size bag?
It's just a visual thing. It's the same as everything else. So, and what you do is you're selling. What they do in Pownell and other places, they have video cameras. They actually watch. Pownell, you go a long way before you start throwing, and you just keep an eye out. If someone pays for 2 bags and starts throwing in 4 and 5, you have to go over and say, you got to pay. And that's the thing. The system we have now, I would say, is pretty lax because we weren't actually picking up the tab for anything. We were paying a flat management fee to TAM. Well, I wonder if that was covering everything. Now we're paying for everything that goes over the scale, and we're going to have to tighten up what we're looking at. And I've heard stories now from people there that, some people come in, they drive off and they don't pay. Well, we're not going to permit that because, in 2019, the operation was about $70,000 in the red. By doubling the per pay it sticker this year, we'll be able to get that down to maybe 40,000 in the red. So everybody who's not following the rules is just causing the rest of the taxpayers to pay more. So, it is a bargain going there. So expecting people to pay, right, is part of it. It is going to be a change from the way it is now, but, we have to view it really as a business. And at the moment, it's losing money. I don't expect it to ever break even, but we can't be lax and let people just put in more than they're paying for. And with the current 2 sheds that are there, I haven't gotten this far with Casella, but I assume they're not going to pick up the shed they built and take it away. So what I want to do is combine those two sheds, Shelley's old one and that new one, and make those the swap sheds. Because we'll just reduce the volume, so we won't continually collect as much, non-marketable, let's say, items in it, because it was just too much. So if you limit the size, you can keep going, nope, this has to go. This has been on the shelf for 3 months, it's got to go. I mean, we're trying our best to recycle things so people can repurpose things, but that last swap shed was just everything.
Would this be the time, and I can't remember the woman's name who came in 2 meetings ago. With this group, then, can we enlist this group to begin to spend time at the transfer station and begin to educate people about what's recyclable, what's garbage?
Well, I think she had a good point, and I think we want to work that in. And I think part of that too is having more signage and having, again, this is a role for the supervisor up there to play, because we have to be more proactive than,
Yeah.
just talking with people. It has to be, you have to follow these rules. It's not, we're not going to start cutting open garbage bags, but, you have to make sure the recycling's going in the right place. And just following the rules. And there are a number of things we can look at. And a number of things that pointed out to me, we have getting rid of the Freon. Another town was showing me they have a contractor who does it at a very reasonable price. They also have a scrap metal person who will pay a percentage back to the town. So, there's a lot of things to explore here. And we're going to have some stumbles as we go into this as a, something that we have to manage here, which is the other reason why we need a supervisor there. Someone else has to be on top of this stuff. So it'll be some challenges, but I think in the long run, we can make it a better operation. It'll be different. It'll be different, but I think it needs to be.
Are the bags got to be clear, or can it be colored bags?
Some places require cleared bags.
Yeah.
Now, this is really getting into the weeds of the change, but some people will object to clear bags too. So I don't even know how available clear bags are, to tell you the truth.
I wouldn't know where to find one.
No.
We actually wound up with a box. I don't know where it came from, and I wasn't a big fan of it either. So, we'll see how that develops. I think there's a way to just, like it works in other places without getting into clear bags and things like that. So, if you look at Bennington, if you look at Pownell, they all have this stuff like that. It's all by the size of the bag. It's
There's
not
no
way.
state regulation on that?
No, we have to have pay it. We're not told what exactly we have to do. So, we'll go at it that way.
Well, if you recycle, you don't have a lot of disposal.
No, if you're recycling, and if you're worried about how much you're spending at the transfer station, if
Yeah.
you're recycling and you're taking your food scraps out,
Right.
your food scraps are the heaviest part of what you're throwing in there. So if you're doing that, you shouldn't be showing up with, a 60-gallon bag.
No.
It should be fairly minimal, depending on, how many people you have in your household, but it should be manageable. And along those lines, this is a side factor. I'm removing the dumpster from Howard Park because it's just becoming problematic with, we just don't need it. It's just becoming somebody's place to throw their stuff.
People pulling in there.
Yeah, and it's hard to, it's hard to get license plates correctly, and it's also really not worth the time to go after someone for putting it in a dumpster that isn't marked. Don't throw here. So I called Casella today and said, just take it away, because we empty our garbage cans, which are all lined. So we'll throw our garbage bags in the back of the pickup truck and take it to our transfer station and just put it in. We're paying for it anyway, so there's no need.
Okay, I want to go back to the consensus of the board that because we're breaking the contract in essence, because we're changing the specs, do we still want to go with Mr. Schul and not put it out to bid again, that sort of stuff, because I don't know if we need a motion.
Yeah, it's just if the board approves, and this would, I tried to contact Ed the other day. I don't know if he's interested in continuing on with this, but if he is, we awarded it to him last year, so I just want to be able to modify it because our needs have completely changed. And no, it won't be anywhere near the same cost because nothing is the same cost as it was a year ago.
We think they pour a slab for that? Or?
Not necessarily. I mean, it depends on cost. I mean, a slab is always nice, but it's really not needed for something like that. The slab would add considerably to the cost.
Okay. Any other comments?
No. Need a motion. You don't need a motion?
I don't think we need a motion to discuss on an awarded contract. We're trying to modify an awarded contract. Yeah.
I did this. I was in Home Depot today and I saw the normal 8-foot 2x4s down to $770. I think from over $13,
Yeah.
$14.
They're all down. All the prices are coming down a great deal on lumber. It's more a timing thing, finding a contractor who has time right now because they're all pretty busy.
But this was a contract that he did sign.
Yeah, we awarded it back in last.
We're changing part of it. I still think he should honor the contract as far as the work part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's we need to just update everything with it.
Okay.
And then the ramp part of it, the last part on here, the ramps, I'm going to be going to MSK because I don't see that as a huge engineering fee. It should be underneath our budget line there. And just get those engineered as soon as I get the specs and get those built. And I think that'll improve the operation a great deal to have things where they should be.
Okay. Anything else? You all set?
Nope,
Ken,
that's,
what's going on? Good. Good. DPW, I guess, start in by saying that we do have a position open for a DPW worker. A Class B CDL would be preferable, but if somebody doesn't have one but has the ability to get one, we've trained people in the past.
mhm.
Okay. Anything else?
No, the roadside mowing is going on. As we said earlier, the Shaftsbury Hall project's going on. That's going to take until September. There's just ditching going on, continued work on Rollin Road. And that'll take up the next week or so.
Applications,
Applications are available online or at the clerk's office.
Okay.
And they can just be left here for Mike Gennady, and we'll see where we go from there.
hopefully Mike and I can interview a couple of people and have suggestions within a short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get back. Okay. Anything else? Review of action items?
I guess we should mention that the July 5th Select Board meeting is canceled.
That's
And that
why we're meeting tonight. I forgot to mention.
Yep, and the next meeting will be June 19th, July 19th.
July 19th,
Yes,
usual 6:30.
usual 6:30 here.
The bids went out for more, for other stuff, and they
Yep.
aren't due back until October.
They're due back on July 16th at noon, and we will open those on the 19th.
July 19th.
We'll award it on the first meeting in August so that we have time to review the bids. And one is potentially financed already because we got the loan from the state. However, all the applications require proposed financing by the company is making the application. Some plan to bid on both items, so we might get an interesting finance offer from somebody else. So we won't be filling out this form until,
Another reason for not filling out
Yeah.
the form.
you don't know. I mean, someone who's selling us two and taking a big trade-in might come up with better financing. Financing rates are pretty low right now, so this is a 2% loan, which a few years ago would have been extraordinary, but now, with the rates, it's not that extraordinary.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that.
I thought we had money for these machines. Already saved.
We have money to put the down payment down on the mower. We don't have the money for that. That was never in the budget.
Well, no, that's a grant.
No, that's a loan. It's not a grant. It's a loan for $110,000 from the state.
I thought it was supposed to be a grant.
No, a loan. Nobody gives a grant for that much money. A loan. So that's a loan from the state treasurer's office, and that'll be for $110,000. And we have the money to pay the difference between that and whatever the final bid price is. For the excavator, because we're taking that out of the cycle from maybe the Volvo was supposed to be replaced in like 12 years,
Yeah,
we're moving it up, but we're also getting a big bonus from trading it in
Right.
for the smaller excavator. So over the next 5 years, because we'll finance and pay that off in 5 years, we will have to make a few adjustments to the money going into the reserve fund to bring it up a couple of thousand over the next 5 years so that we stay, at the end of that 5 years, we're back on track for everything else. Because I don't want to knock anything else out of rotation because we can't. We have these things pretty well set to be
Right.
replaced.
No,
Yeah.
I understood that there was gonna be a change there.
Yeah, the mower though, when you consider a mower like this will be around for the amount we use it for 20 years plus, it's worth.
It's a wash of what we're paying now.
Yeah,
anyway.
it is. Well, that's the other thing. It's
It
a
is.
wash anyway, and it's worth having around now because it'll be here for a long time. Look at that John Deere we have now. That's
Well, not
think
only
that's-
that, you could mow more farther back
All the
than
time.
you did
Yep.
if you didn't have it.
Yep, and you can put it out a lot of times a year. You can even do stuff in winter with it. So there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anything else? Action items, other business?
No.
Okay. I think we can adjourn. Somebody have to make a motion.
So moved.
Second.
There we go. Any discussion?
Very good.
Have a good vacation.
Thank you.